Hey guys, welcome back to the All Sports Pass podcast North. My name's Eli,
I'm Max.
and welcome back to another video. And today it's a very special edition of ASP as we got ARCA Menard Series driver, the pizza man himself, Brayton Laster. Thank you for joining us, Brayton.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me on. It's always a pretty cool opportunity every time I get to tell my story. So excited to be here. Excited to talk to you guys.
All right. And we appreciate you being here. Before we get in this video, you already didn't know the usual. We're going to start off with the verse of the day. And today's verse comes from Romans 8:11, and it says, "And if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead is living in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit who lives in you." And before we get into this, leave a like, subscribe for more NASCAR content, and hopefully more driver interviews. Without further ado, let's begin. So Brayton, first question that I have for you is basically, how did you get into racing, like as a fan, like growing up?
Yeah, for me, it's a bit of a family thing. My dad grew up going to the racetrack and owning some cars locally, and he started racing himself. And then I started going to the track with him when I was pretty young and whatnot. And then 8 years old, got started out in go karts at the Indianapolis Speedrome, and from there it was pretty much like wildfire. It spread through my veins, and I became addicted. I that's a bad way to put it, but I like to go in fast and first couple of years were really fun in go karts, and then I discovered pizza at the racetrack and got a little too big for the go kart, and I weighed that extra 30, 40 pounds more than most of the other kids, so had to move up. And 12, 13 years old, I was racing full size stock cars out there around Indianapolis as well. We had a 1977 Ford Thunderbird, so that was pretty cool. But always just loved racing locally, and then a couple years ago we got an opportunity to go race ARCA, and life has never been the same since.
And you mentioned that, of course, you make your ARCA debut in the 03 back in 2022 for Mullins. You finished 13th there, but for all your fans out there, they probably know you for what happened at Talladega later that season. And I'm pretty sure you can tell us all this. Basically, you get involved into a wreck, and basically, someone, I believe it's Richard Garvey, I believe is
Yep.
his name. He goes on top of you, and I'm like, dang, man. Yeah, like, what were your thoughts about that? Like when that happened?
Yeah, so that was kind of a weird deal. Second race of my career in the ARCA Menard series there, and you go in Talladega kind of expecting to tear a car up. I just don't know how bad. Daytona went pretty clean. That was a great debut. Finished 13th, like you mentioned, and we went to Talladega with some high hopes, and we ran the first half of the race fairly clean. We survived. We were there past the halfway point, ready to go to the front. We were making our way towards the front one. Then we got clipped and got sent spinning around. And that's when Garvey found my nose and basically decided to use me as a 185-mile-an-hour ramp. And that was a weird moment. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize he got airborne, obviously, because he hits me. I don't realize he actually takes the air because he's above me at that point. And I remember crashing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And just trying to calm myself down and be aware of what's happening. I remember sitting there trying to fire the car back up, and the car didn't fire back up. So I'm like, well, I guess this is it. That's when my ARCA career going to end up as a ramp. So I get out of the car, I wave to the fans, and I go and get checked out and everything. I'm walking back to the trailer. I'm running to Brad Perez, and Brad's like, "Man, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "Dude, that was crazy. That car flew off you and everything." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he sat there and showed the replay on Twitter, and it was. I was like, "Oh my golly!" Like I don't realize a car, tried to, become a hot air balloon and take off using my right front tire there. So that was a really weird weekend, and that just topped it all off. But it kind of put me in the spotlight. I got a lot of social media attention from it, which obviously, hey, if I'm going to wreck, I would at least want to get at least some spotlight positivity out of it, and that was that.
And also, like, I just want to add on to that. I think I remember, like, I either saw it on replay. Yeah, I saw a replay actually. Um, and it was the one where I think Arca reposted to where it was like the announcers take on it. I was honestly shocked that they weren't really like kind of like yelling like, "Oh my gosh, your car got ramped up into the air." And I was like, they were just kind of like, kind of like the, I guess you could say, just calm. I was like, how can you be calm when someone just flew off of somebody? Yeah. I just thought that was fun. I just had to add that in. Um, yeah, but of course, and then you make another run with Mullins at Daytona in 2023. Of course, you drive the Mustang, and one of my questions is this: is that of course, when you drove for Mullins those two races in 2022, like you drove the Fusion and then you switched to the Mustang. I'm just curious because, like, are there like any differences on like the handling of the Mustang to the Fusion?
I mean, not really. So that was the first time a Mustang had been taken to super speedway, and obviously had a little bit more drag and did really good at Pocono the previous year with Taylor Gray driving the Mustang for David Gilliland. And the car I drove, it was the same car that I wrecked at Talladega rebuilt with a Mustang body. And so we were kind of really hoping going forward to Pocono or going forward to Daytona that, hey, Pocono worked really well for the Gray brothers when they ran the Mustang body there. Hopefully we can find that same success. And it was just way too draggy for our liking. Like, I'd pop out to go make a move, and it's like someone threw a boat anchor through my windshield. Like, it was so bad, and we just kind of fall back in those 2 or 3 spots. So I definitely had to work for every single spot that race, and the result definitely showed. I think we finished like 25th or 27th that race. That one definitely hurt. Going back to Daytona after having such a great run the year before. You expect to say, hey, we got 13th last year to get top 10 this year. Let's make the most of it. And to go down there with the first time that body style and just not being anywhere near what you thought it was going to be. That one definitely hurt a little bit. And they took that car to test. I left Mullins after that deal, and they took that car back down to testing in 2024, and they got 3 seconds out of that car in testing in 2024. So, I mean, they left, 3 seconds on the table, and that was, obviously, like, hey, stuff happens. I'm not upset about it or anything, but, that was a tough pill to swallow, going down there just expecting to have a really fast car, and, they put a ton of work into it in the off season, just didn't quite get it, where I don't think anyone expected it to be.
All right. All right. And this is the last question that I'm going to ask for it before I let Max ask some here. Basically, after that in like 2023, you basically start being a journeyman. You go up for some different teams. Of course, notable ones seen here, Fast Track, Rise. Then you go to MAN Motorsports, which unfortunately you DNQ'd at Daytona. And then you go back Fast Track with Rise again, where both Rise, you end up getting 3 straight top 10s in a row, and then of course you get a full-time deal with Wayne Peterson for 2025. Like, how does it feel like knowing that that you're finally getting the full-time opportunity?
Yeah, that was a lot, like I mentioned, being a journeyman there, kind of going back and forth, and kind of getting every opportunity that I got, and trying to make the most of it. And that was my purpose there for a while was, hey, if a team needed a driver, I would just kind of be the guy that'd give a call, and I would go and I'd drive a race car, and then I'd come back and not really know what my next race was. And I was able to put something together last year with Wayne Peterson Motorsports for Indianapolis Raceway Park, and we went out there. We had a great run. A top 20 run for those guys means a lot to them, excuse me. And then sitting there, they called me that next Monday or Tuesday, said, hey, we got Salem coming up this week. Do you want to, come down and drive? And I was like, oh, I'd love to. I just don't have a whole lot of, really sponsorship or any money or financials lined up. They said, don't worry about it. Just come down and drive the car. We'll help you with that. And I was like, sweet. All right, let's do it. And so we went down there and got a top 10 run. That 9th place finish was, their best finish in, 40 years, I believe, for their team with their car. And so, they right there, they knew, hey, this is awesome. Something clicked. And after that, we started putting a deal together to go full time in 2025. And now that's where we're at.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, trust me, whenever I actually think I remember watching that one, and I was like, man, Brayton's up in the top 10 again. Like, I honestly, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I was like, how is he not full time? Because he is amazing. but of course, you have a good ARCA resume. But however, and I'll probably come back to this unless unless Max asks about it. You also have a run with the NASCAR team back in 2022.
Yep.
I'm going to let Max ask some things first, just so like I'm not taking up all the spotlight here.
Right. So my base question is, so obviously the next Orca race will be at Talladega. What gives the strategy for that? Like, do you plan on going plow rearing up to the front, or like keep it calm and try to like go for the X?
Yeah, at the end of the day, going to Talladega, you always want to leave in one piece. So that's the main goal. We don't really care. We'd love to go out there. We'd love to win. We'd love to get top 10. We'd even be happy with the top 20 or top 25. And, we were set to get a top 15 and at least a top 20 at Daytona before we had a tire go down. So, leaving Talladega on one piece at the end of the day is our big goal. We have a super speedway car. We're not planning on using it anywhere else throughout the season. So, we can kind of go out there and be a little risky if the car allows us to. So we'll go down there, kind of hope for the best, and see what we got come practice on Friday, and then try and make the most of it race time on Saturday.
Right. And my second question is, do you plan on running any like truck series races in the future?
At this moment, not right now. We'd obviously love to go and run a truck series race sometime. I'd love to get back. We ran 2022 Knoxville Dirt Race with the Rayon Brothers Racing, and I really loved that. That was a fun experience. That was a fun time with those guys. I'd love to work with them again if I could. Right now, that's not really in the playing cards, so we will have to just kind of wait and see what presents itself there as far as that goes.
Right. And my third question is, uh, what has been your favorite racing moment so far?
Probably my favorite racing moment has to probably be that top 10 at Salem last year. That meant a lot to me getting, my or matching my best career finish down there. But then also going down there and, those guys at Wayne Peterson, they've been kind of struggling the last couple of years as far as getting some consistency and going down there and being able to get that top 10 and how much it not is meant to me but to those guys as well. That I guess, seeing how much it meant to them, that really affected me in the way I kind of looked. I'm like, wow, this is a big moment for for everyone here. And so it was at that point where we kind of said, hey, we definitely want to come back and do something full time.
Right. And my final question is, like, obviously this. Uh, so my final question is, like, what's the strategy go but bring on like to be speedway against short tracks this year?
Obviously we're a little under budgeted team, so we're not going to be super competitive on the bigger tracks, and we knew that going in. As far as the short tracks go, we can definitely be a little bit more competitive there. We're not going to be Venturini or a Gibbs car, but we can go down there and still have a good run like we did at Salem last year. So, the plan is to make it through the big tracks alive in one piece, and so far we've done an okayish job at that. But hit the summer months with our feet running pretty much, and we start picking up those top 15, the top 20, the top 10 runs pretty consistently. Then we're going to be sitting in good business.
Right.
All right. So basically, my question about the NASCAR one, that I just decided to hold off until I let Max talk because like I say no, well we gotta be sharing the spotlight here. But basically, like you say, you raced at Knoxville in 2022 with Rayon, and thing about it is, like, I'm just curious, like, how does the truck handle compared to an ARCA car, and especially on dirt?
Because I've only ever raced the truck on dirt, so that's about the only place I feel probably comfortable, I guess, comparing them. But they're a little similar in a sense as far as they aren't made to be on there. We've ran the ARCA car, we run the ARCA car on dirt every year at Springfield and DeCoin, and it's always a fun experience getting those cars to turn, but not too much. And Knoxville was kind of a one lane this groove track for a little bit. Have moments where it was too wide, or you could run the top, or you could run the middle, you could run the bottom. And then same for Springfield and DeCoin. There's some moments you can run the middle, but you're almost always on bottom feet around the bottom line there. So I don't know what they can do differently to try and make the racing better. I think Bristol put on a great race. I wish, both ARCA and the trucks would go back to Bristol. But, they're definitely very unique in their own sense. And, it's nothing like anything else that I've personally ran on dirt. I've raced a ton of stuff on dirt before. But I don't know what they got to do to make them different. I think just with the fact they got a truck arm rear end and, the 3,400-pound stock car is not really meant for dirt.
And and personally, when I saw personally, I've seen some great finishes in the truck series on dirt. And like you mentioned, with that, I personally, when NASCAR decided to do Bristol dirt, I was okay with the idea at first, and then when I saw the racing, it was kind of lackluster to me. But I personally think that the truck should honestly stay on dirt because, hey, that racing's fun. And, hey, that last chance qualifying race, I don't know if you remember, but I think it was 2013, Norm Benning, Clay Greenfield battling for it. That was just amazing. But I'm with you on that one. I really think that of course that Bristol would be amazing for both of them. And personally, Bristol's my favorite track. So I'd of course, heck, I'd honestly be fine with just seeing a NASCAR Bristol series, if it's just every once in a while. But yeah, yeah. But also, with the fact, of course, I decided to ask this because, I think most of my viewers here have a bunch of Bristol here. And of course, it doesn't look like that you have raced at Bristol yet. But I'm going to be honest here. What do you think about the racing from what you've seen at Bristol?
Obviously, I like Bristol. I've never been there. I'm going there for the first time this September, so very, very excited about that. But it's a fun, fast track. It's kind of like Salem in a sense. I think we're going to do okay there, and I think we'll end up coming out there in one piece. Obviously, at the end of the day, is the biggest goal for us. But it's a fun track. It's a fun facility, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Basically, every time I've been to Bristol, and I watched Bristol race, it just, in my opinion, it's delivered a lot. And I personally and I hope that you have a fun time when you run there because and I'm going to be honest that you're used to seeing those gaps in the stands and all with the banks and all, basically exact turns is basically what I'm saying on all four corners. It's easy to lose track where that start finish line is, and you're going I want to say maybe 120 miles an hour just in less than a few seconds. It takes 19 seconds to complete a lap. And that's really what I think. I think you're gonna have fun when you go up there.
No, I think definitely it's going to be a fun time getting to go there. Dover's another track that I'm very excited to go and learn. And Dover's a track I have been to in person and watched. I just haven't seen I've seen a race at Dover. I just haven't raced there. So obviously I'm very, very excited about that. I think that's going to be fun time getting to go and learn that. Because obviously it's a little different than Bristol. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit longer. So that's one of the tracks. Bristol and Dover are two tracks that we have circled on our calendar. I said, hey, we're going to go here. And we might not be the most competitive car, but I think we can come out all right.
All right. Basically, we're basically got 10 minutes left on the planned recording here. So I figured let's do some fun questions here. Basically, what's your favorite NASCAR moment before you got into driving?
Probably Trevor Bayne winning Daytona 500. That was a really cool moment. Happy birthday, Trevor Bayne. That was a really iconic call. I think that was a really, really neat moment. That or Juan Pablo hitting a jet dryer. That was also a pretty good moment.
I'm gonna be honest about the Trevor Bay moment. Like I was like, I'm trying to think of it here. I was 4 when that happened, and when I hear that like years later, I completely forgot that he turned like 20 the day before, um, or like 2 days before. It's been a while since I watched a recording of it, but I also think the one with the jet dryer. I'm gonna be honest, like that was like one of the funniest things that I'd seen up to like I want to say I don't know, my 10th birthday. And then I was watching like Michael Marooks on YouTube, and he was like he was like called him Jet Dryer Montoya, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Um and I was and the funniest thing about it was when they announced he was coming back to race with Watkins Glen last year, I was like, better hide the jet dryers, man. Yeah. Um, but also one of the things that I wanted to ask you, like, of course, you're the pizza man, and I want your take on this. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely not. I'm glad you asked that because that is a very much a disgrace that anyone wants to put pineapple on pizza. Okay, I personally don't have a huge issue with it. I'm okay with you putting whatever you want to put on your pizza. I'm not going to sit here and think of you one way or another because you put pineapple on your pizza. I just personally don't think it belongs.
Yeah. But however, basically, personally, I like pepperoni and sausage pizza mostly. So of course, I don't think I've really had a supreme before, or even like any other topping. I could be wrong, but but the thing about it is, what's your favorite kind?
I just like plain pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, well, I honestly, yes, I should have assumed next, or the fact that you do have a pepperoni pizza helmet. um, yeah, but I do honestly think that of course, that, and also I think it also depends on where you get your pizza from as well. Like I personally get mine from Domino's, and hey, not sponsored by the way. Um, but we usually get mine from like Domino's, or we usually go to like sometimes we'll do Papa John's, and also not sponsored by the way on that, and we go to a local pizza place every now and then. Yeah, but like and Max, hey, join in on the fun, man. What's your favorite pizza?
No, I like pepperoni too. Uh, yeah, can you usually get mine at Pizza Hut because that's like right down the road from me.
Mm. Um, yeah, but so where do you usually get yours, Brayton?
Pretty much all the brands you mentioned. I don't have a huge preference. I do like Papa John's, I like Domino's, I like those Caesars. I like Casey's. I like all pizzas, so I don't really discriminate a whole lot as far as that goes.
Um, yeah, I actually thought of this just like a few minutes ago. Um, like I honestly hope you win a race one day because like I think that I asked you this a couple years ago. Like what would your celebration be? And then I think someone, it was either you or someone else, I don't remember, said that you'll like stuff pizza in your face and eat it,
I
or
mean,
like
if I want to race, I'd do some donuts and I'd probably get some pizza and I'd eat some pizza. Probably not. I wouldn't have it there at the track, but I'd find some.
yeah. But I was just genuinely curious about that because I think I remembered asking that like a couple years ago, but I did not remember what the response was. Um, but I also and this is probably the final question from me. Um, like, do you think that of course, uh, in pizza terms, do you think that you could eat the world's largest slice of pizza like from a couple years ago, like Mr. Beast did that like Joey Chestnut thing?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I know I kind of know what you're talking about. I've gone go karting with Joey before, and we've talked about this. It's on my Instagram, I believe. We can go and find it. But no, we've talked about it before. Like, hey, like I just wanted to see like what like the whole pizza thing was about, and like it's like, oh, dude, it was awesome. So I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know exactly how big it is, but I'm always up for a challenge.
Hey, you might so when we get off recording here, like let me know what on earth you think about it when you see that, because personally I know this. I'd probably pass out after eating just like one bite of it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Joey Chestnut pizza real quick. I could eat that. Yeah,
No way.
I could.
Hey, I'm just saying because, dude, that's like what? I don't remember. I think it's like 8 feet or something. I don't know,
That's a
dude.
lot of pizza.
Yeah. I think you'd probably be like Pizza King on a 30-day break from pizza, I guess. Yeah. All right. Max, you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah. So obviously you grew up again in Indy. So I wanted to ask you, like, who's your favorite Colts player of all time?
I really obviously like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was the GOAT around here for a long time, and able to go and get Super Bowl with him. I wasn't a huge Colts fan back then, but obviously respect him and everything he did for our city. So obviously a huge Peyton Manning guy.
Actually, I don't know if you noticed the shirt I'm wearing, but I'm a Tennessee fan, so of course, so you got the seal of approval from me. Yeah. Now, of course, I don't know if you see like the hat in the background. Like, I am a Packers fan, but I will say this, that when Peyton was in the NFL, you know dang well I was hyped whenever like he won the game. All right. And I think that's gonna wrap it up. So that's all we got for y'all tonight, guys. If y'all like this show, go like, subscribe. Of course, thank you, Brayton, for being here. And yeah, that being said, peace out. God bless. Have a good night.
Thank you.